I alluded to this just a moment ago, but an unusual situation that we are keeping an eye on heading into Saturday, the wildfires in the state of Oregon. A couple of Big Ten games in jeopardy this weekend. Minnesota and Nebraska are going there. This is the latest as of Wednesday morning. More than 20,000 acres still burning. Roads have been closed. Many homes are being threatened. As for the impact on football, Oregon State did practice in Corvallis on Tuesday. Oregon was not as fortunate. The Ducks moved their practice to the town of Florence, which is on the coast about an hour from campus. That due to hazardous air quality in Eugene. Here is a sense of how the impact of the wildfires is being felt on Oregon's campus. This is a shot of Autzen Stadium from the Oregonian newspaper. You see the smoke clearly hovering there. As of last night, that air quality in Eugene had been upgraded ever so slightly from hazardous to unhealthy. Now, this was a bit of an issue for Oregon's home game Saturday night as well, as school officials held a conference call with medical officials before deciding to play. So, Pat, you follow the national scene closely. And again, this isn't the only issue that we're seeing nationally. Hurricane Irene in Florida as well this week. So there's a lot going on here. This is the one that's affecting Big Ten teams, though, and we don't see this very often in Big Ten country. So give us a sense of kind of the typical protocol of how things like this work.
Yeah, this is one of those cases, Dave, and this is unusual. This is not a hurricane related or something like that. Totally different circumstance, but players play, coaches coach, administrators administer, and this is an administrative issue. Mostly, probably, the people at Minnesota and Nebraska are relying on feedback and conclusions that are being reached out west, both at Oregon State and at Oregon and at the Pac-12 office. They will probably make most of the decisions and deliberations. Probably the director of football operations, assistant athletic director are going to be the people that will be primarily in contact with the host schools and trying to figure out logistics. Are we going to play? Is there going to be a different kickoff time? Do we need to adjust our travel schedule? A lot of things just up in the air, waiting to see what the weather is going to do here. There is a chance of rain today and possibly tomorrow, which would help alleviate some of the situation out there. But which way are the winds blowing? A lot of people trying to become instant meteorological experts on what's happening in the Willamette Valley of Oregon right now. Still a lot up in the air, waiting to see how this is going to play out.
Well, Pat said it, players play, coaches coach. I mean, from a player's perspective, when you have this uncertainty surrounding whether or not there's going to be a game, whether you're going to travel out there, how do you handle it as a player?
Well, you try to keep everything as normal as possible, but in this situation, obviously, it's very difficult. As Pat said, Oregon had to move their practice to the coast. Oregon State stayed at home and didn't use their indoor facility, and players were complaining about the fact that they were having trouble breathing. So I think those players are going to be affected because they're looking around saying, hey, well, let's go in the indoor. If we can't, we're struggling to breathe out here. You look at the two Big Ten teams, I think they'll be fine because they can just go through practice just like normal. Nothing really changes for them. You look at the Pac-12 teams, they're having some issues, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play out during the weekend.
Big story. We'll keep you updated on this here on BTN, and obviously we wish everyone on the West Coast well. As for the story